In 1984, by George Orwell, the protagonist Winston Smith is taken to one of the four headquarters buildings. In the Ministry of Love, Winston meets his torturer, O'Brien. The party's reason for torturing Winston was not to extract information about his actions against the party. He is instead tortured until he confesses to the crimes that he committed. But the confession is not the object of the torture. O'Brien tortures him to order him to have him understand that he was wrong all along, to change his thought process, to make him love Big Brother. O'Brien says we convert him, we capture his inner mind, we reshape him, we burn all evil and all illusion out of him. We bring him over to our side, not in appearance but genuinely, heart and soul. We make him one of ourselves before we kill him. Orwell 2:55. Winston is subjected to routine physical torture without any warning except a slight movement of O'Brien's hand. A wave of pain flooded his body. It was a frightening pain because he could not see what was happening, and he had the feeling that some mortal injury was being done to him. He did not know whether the thing was really happening, or whether the effect was electrically produced, but his body was being wrenched out of shape. The joints were being slowly torn apart. Orwell 2:44. O'Brien manipulates machine torturing Winston and tells Winston that if he tries to lie or evade a question, then the pain will be instant. Sometimes it was fists, sometimes it was truncheons, sometimes it was steel rods, sometimes it was boots. There were times when he rolled about the floor as shameless as an animal, writhing his body this way and to that in endless, hopeless an effort to dodge the kicks, and simply inviting more and yet more kicks. In his ribs, in his belly, on his elbows, on his shins, in his groin, in his testicle, on the bone at the base of his spleen. Orwell 2:40. In the U.S., most of the citizens like to think that torture is a concept that is exaggerated for television. People don't realize it is real and has several serious cases in Guantanamo Bay and Abu Ghraib. Others who know about the abusive interrogation procedures happening at the U.S. black sites choose to believe that the government knows what they are doing, and what they are doing must be legally and morally correct. Beginning with Guantanamo Bay, after 9/11, the U.S. government began using detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay to illegally keep detainees for the war on terror. Most of them were never given a trial and missed a substantial amount of time from their regular lives. Guantanamo Bay is located in southeastern Cuba. The problem with this was that our president at the time, George Bush, said that detainees were not on U.S. soil, so they were not covered by the Constitution, and since that they had been declared enemy of the state, they were not given any rights. At least 9 detainees have died in custody. The U.S. Department spent about $445 million to run Guantanamo Bay in 2015. The main technique that the prison used was waterboarding. While Obama declared it to be torture, many defenders of waterboarding say that after 9/11, when the CIA supposedly used this on the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, and his interrogation using waterboarding led to the location and the killing of Osama bin Laden, but the Senate stated that those were lies. FBI agents say that all the useful intelligence came from traditional, nonviolent questioning, and that later waterboarding produced nothing. While it may be true that some of the torture may have stopped terror attacks, most of the torture was cruel and inefficient. During office, Obama tried to shut down Guantanamo Bay, but his efforts were inefficient. This enhanced interrogation and torture program breaks several U.S. laws. The problem with this is that technically the detainees are not on U.S. soil, therefore they do not have rights. This must be solved. To Abu Ghraib. Abu Ghraib has some of the worst and most horrendous cases of torture in all of history. This army detention camp captured Iraqis from 2003 to 2006. Many prisoners have died, and equally not many of the soldiers that committed the torture have been tried or even faced any consequences. In 2009, an investigation into the detainees at the prison occurred because of the discovery of photos depicting guards abusing detainees in 2003. The type of torture that occurred there was one of the most grotesque kind. They committed sexual torture, electric torture, sleep deprivation, and, like Guantanamo Bay, waterboarding. Many of the detainees do not have the resources nor the ability to speak out against the malicious acts done to them. What makes these two detention centers unique from the U.S. legal system is future detainees are taken based on little to no evidence or connection to terrorist attacks, and their disappearance is fueled by racism and are treated guilty until proven innocent, contrary to U.S. courts, as well as they are never let go, and if they do make it out, they are not left unscarred. There are several solutions that can be put into place. As citizens, we need to become more aware of detention camps and pay attention to the idea of torture and to educate ourselves about the topic. This can be done by several sources, including this video. Another way that we can solve this would be to shut down the prisons and detention camps. President Obama even tried to shut down Guantanamo Bay. This would ensure that torture would stop. However, this poses the problem that there would be no place for the people to go. That means we would have to build another detention camp. If we build another one to hold these detainees, then it should be on U.S. soil to ensure that the law protects them and that they have rights, especially the 8th Amendment, that protects them from cruel and unusual punishment. All of these solutions would slowly make a difference and be steps toward removing torture and abuse from detention camps and prison, and to lead to a more peaceful and questioning technique.